Hi there, this is Joe from SquareXO, and this is SquareXO episode 48. I'm joined by Dan,
Hello.
Rebecca,
Hello.
and Nicole.
Hello.
Don't forget you can follow us on twitter.com/square_XO, on patreon.com/squarexo, twitch.tv/squarexo, or on iTunes, or on Podbean, and you can visit our website at www.squarexo.co.uk. Don't forget to leave us nice reviews and all that. Okay, awesome. We can start. Getting good at that. I keep saying that every week. I'm getting good at that. I think everybody knows I'm good at it now.
Or just really bad that you need that reassurance that you're good at it.
It's a shame that we can't steal SquareXO on Twitter off of someone, because everything else is /SquareXO apart from Twitter, which is /square_XO.
Who has it?
That's what I was just going to look at now.
That'd be interesting, you know. It's a bit like water, though. I've had water for ages, but I'm at _water, and the person who's got water never uses his Twitter, and it's so annoying.
There is SquareXO.
Doesn't look like it.
That guy who's had water's had it for ages, and it's like, I want that, man. That's my name. Why have you got it?
Yeah, that's it. Maybe you got it when he heard about you and thought one day you'll give him lots of money to have it.
And the annoying thing is, if you search for water, search for people water, I'm the one that comes up first. No one else is there.
Yeah.
I found that guy, but the last time he used his Twitter was
1920.
I've got exactly the same with mine. 0 followers, no tweets ever, no picture, no banner. It's like, that's my handle. Like, I've got a sticker. Mine's Rebecca Stowe 97, but the actual Rebecca Stowe is just blank, completely devoid. Yeah. Oh, that's so annoying.
I'm alright. I never had any kind of there's no one to contest mine. I was quite happy with that.
Oh yeah, yours is Gamer's Delight, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's spelled wrong, isn't it?
Disgrace, really.
Yes.
It's got 2 S's, but I mean, gamer is gamer. It sounds good.
Anyway, we're off topic, but yeah, SquareXO is account suspended. Oh. Try and change our. Well, I don't know if we should change our name now. Anyway, sorry, we've gone well off topic. What's been happening in the news, Lord of the News?
Okay, let's get to it, I guess. Right, okay, I guess one of the biggest things which we were going to talk about was the Xbox Games Pass, which was they announced last week sometime that basically their first party games would be there day and day with the release. So when Sea of Thieves comes out, for example, if you have the Xbox Games Pass, then you'll be able to play it on the same day it comes out, and the same with Crackdown and all their other exclusives, which is basically those two. So yeah, you'll be able to play I think you'll get a maximum of 3 exclusives from Microsoft this year, so nothing major. So like if you want to pay for, I think it's $7.99 a month though, so it's kind of worth it really if you're planning to buy those 3. But retailers have been getting a bit annoyed about it. I've noticed they would talk to a few retailers today in the UK, and one in Australia's already said they're not going to sell Microsoft games anymore.
Oh really?
Because they're basically saying, well, we only make about £4 on each game anyway, so nobody's going to come in and buy them if they're doing it through the Game Pass. So it's a bit like, didn't Game Ones not sell that PSP, the digital PSP?
PSP Go, yeah, maybe. Yeah. I bought mine from HMV, so
yeah,
possibly.
I think Game decided not to sell it. Because obviously they wouldn't get any customer, and I think game retailers is getting a bit annoyed about this, and some are banning it. So.
But that kind of plays into Microsoft's hands a little bit, doesn't it? Because it just means that they then control the market. So it's almost like a perfect storm. If Game or whatever don't want to sell their games, so that you've got to buy it off of the Microsoft Store or off of Game Pass, then more people are going to sign up to Games Pass or the store, so it's self-perpetuating almost.
Exactly. Yeah. So the only reason that somebody like Microsoft needs Game is to sell their consoles, but with Amazon and stuff becoming more and more sort of in the public eye, Amazon's bigger than Game by a mile now. They don't really need Game anymore to sell their consoles because they can just sell them online now. They can sell them on their own store online. They can sell them on Amazon, so they don't need game stores anymore, really. No one does.
Because the markup on consoles is quite small anyway, isn't it? So you don't normally get a really cheap console.
Yeah.
So yeah, be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about like everyone's kind of talking about how PlayStation perhaps trying to match it and maybe over elaborating their PS Now thing and kind of making that a bit of a more kind of forefront offer when it comes to PlayStation, so people kind of, you know, go on and they do want to subscribe to PlayStation Now. But
so obviously I wrote something about it that everybody's probably read or maybe not, whatever, but I just was writing saying how I thought it could change the industry if others sort of, if it was a success and then others sort of took notice and started doing the same sort of thing. I mean, I don't really think Xbox is big enough for it to be that much a success. Even if every Xbox fan bought into it and all bought it and stopped buying first party games, I mean, I don't think it's really going to affect much because I just don't see everybody going, oh wow, they've sold all these first party games, because they don't have enough games. Maybe if they were including other third party games in it as well, then it'd start to have more effect, and Sony and Nintendo would need to go, here, wait a minute, we're going to need to do something about this. But
how do you think it would affect publishers though and their revenues? Because will publishers get as much from Microsoft through someone signing up to Games Pass as they would for someone buying their game from a store?
No, probably not. That's probably not why they've done it. But the way I would see it is, if it was going to happen, it would be more like EA would go, right, here's the EA access, pay for this each month and you'll get the game that you can play on our service. And then Ubisoft would go, oh, here's Uplay, sign up to us and you can play first party games from Ubisoft on this service. So the way I would see it would change is that all the different publishers would have all their own services, which they already have, really. They already have their own services. You've got EA Access, you've got Uplay, you've got PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, Xbox Games Pass. So, I mean, really, they're already there, but that's the way they're all heading. So soon you could find yourself having to pay, if you'd like 3 or 4 publishers, you could find yourself paying $7.99 a month to all of them.
Yeah. Well, that's the way a lot of the world's going, and that's, I kind of made mention on Twitter that I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. But linking back or forward to a bit of news that we're probably going to talk about, and I won't piss on your fire with it, but talking about the Microsoft acquisition, I wonder if that rumours are true. Maybe it's to do with Games Pass, and maybe that there'd be some kind of timed exclusivity with EA releases on Games Pass.
Yeah, well, if they weren't to acquire EA, Valve, or the publisher, developer, I think most likely if they're going to buy anybody, it would be the Pugba owner, because obviously that's one
not what I'm saying,
game.
Though. What I mean is maybe they're not. Maybe what they're buying is time. So maybe they'd go to EA and say, "Oh, we'll give you £5 million if we can have your game for 2 weeks on Games Pass before it's released in the shops."
Yeah, they'd need to give them a hell of a lot more of £5 million or whatever. But I mean, I think no, I don't see that happening. Not with the install base that Xbox has got. They're not going to play. I mean, they already do it in that respect, I guess, with EA Access, that you can play the game, 7 days or 3 days before. So if you have EA Access, then you can play the game 3 days before it comes out, and that's the full game. And then obviously you can buy the game and keep playing if you want. So I guess it's kind of similar in that respect, but I don't see, and it is exclusive as well, really, because PlayStation doesn't have EA Access, so you kind of get to play it 3 days early, but it doesn't really affect the sales of the game on PlayStation, because the game sells better on PlayStation. So I don't think they would do that. I think if they were going to buy EA, they would be buying them to say, look, that's our company now, this is what we're going to do with the games. But they wouldn't stop selling it on things like PlayStation, because that would be stupid, because they would lose about 60 or 70 million customers on FIFA, which would kind of kill EA in a second, man, if they lost all those sales. I mean, because all those PlayStation fans aren't suddenly going to go, oh, that's it, I'm leaving PlayStation just so I can play FIFA. So, I mean, I think they would definitely, they do what they do with Minecraft now and keep it on all the different systems, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. They're in Minecraft, don't they? Yeah.
But I think the reason for buying somebody like EA would be for the Games Pass, just so that they could have it there day one, so that it's another option. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like the Netflix of gaming. I think that's what they're aiming for, the Netflix of gaming. So if they can offer as much choice as possible on that pass, a bit like Netflix do, they've got Disney and all the other studios they've got, so you've got choice, so you don't need to go out and buy a movie because you can just get them all there, right on your screen instantly. I think that's probably more what Microsoft's aiming for. Just here's all the games, you can get them right here instantly on the same day they come out, and you only have to pay a small fee to get them instead of having to pay 40 quid every time. So that kind of fits that strategy, then it makes sense why they would try and buy someone, I think. But we'll see. But it's all just rumour, innit? I think if they're going to buy MD, like I say, it'll somebody like Pugbar or something, because that's only one game, so it'd be a bit cheaper, wouldn't it? You can't exactly see Valve going, okay, buy us, when they're their main sort of competitor for PC, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can't see Valve sort of doing that willingly.
I don't know. I don't think they would.
Nah, I don't either. I mean, Valve must be worth a lot of money as well, eh? What with Steam must be worth a fortune, and then you've got all their IPs like Half-Life and Portal and stuff, which are quite valuable. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Right, there was rumours about PlayStation Plus, but I think they turned out to be fake.
Yeah, I think I saw someone said that it looked really badly photoshopped from like the previous months.
Well, I saw it. I looked into it and found the guy who made it, so he said it was fake. So, okay, Dark Souls 2 and Far Cry 4. But funnily enough, Far Cry 4 is actually free at the moment if you're a new subscriber. So if you subscribe to PlayStation Plus, you will get Far Cry 4 for free. It's not for existing subscribers. It's only for new subscribers. So how about that?
So I don't think if you're going to entice new people with a game, I don't think Far Cry 4 is the one to do it. I know you've enjoyed it, Rebecca.
Yeah, no, I agree though. I feel like you'd do something like Last of Us or
something iconic to and kind of exclusive to PlayStation. That's how you'd entice people to PS Plus, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's still a free game though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And PS Plus is quite good value, I would say. So I mean, it's just another reason to buy it, isn't it?
You'd think, I don't know. You'd think something that I don't know. I'd think PlayStation exclusive naturally, but I suppose that's
Yeah, you'd think so. Although you get plenty of them if you sort of subscribe to PlayStation Plus anyway, I guess. Who knows? The Xbox Games with Gold was announced for February, even though we don't have the PS Plus games yet. The Xbox Games with Gold is Shadow Warrior, which arrives February 1st to 28th, and Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, which is February 16th to March 15th. They also get Split Second and Crash Taxi on Xbox 360, which both work on Xbox One. There's quite a few PSN issues over the weekend. I don't know if anyone was affected. I wasn't, because I
still don't
generally play online.
I was kind of bugging up on my kind of home screen. I couldn't get my friends or anything to load, but I mean, I wasn't really playing anything multiplayer to have it affect me massively. But I did see the kind of uproar on Twitter, which was, oh my god, it's not working, and all I want to do is play Overwatch
I find it odd because both my sons are constantly on their PlayStation. None of them were really moaning about it not working, so I found it a bit odd that it affect everybody, because it didn't seem to affect them much. I didn't really.
Yeah, it affects regions mainly, doesn't it? That's how they kind of. Yeah, so I don't know if it
affected us. I really don't, because otherwise they generally come out their room the minute it's not working, going, I'm bored. So, yeah, I presume it was working for them. Game rewards are getting slashed. I find this quite interesting. Games at it again. They've only just launched this elite program and now they're slashing the reward points by a quarter, basically. So I think at the moment you get 1.25 points or something for every pound spent. I think that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not 100%. And it's getting slashed to like 0.25 or something. So if you're paying whatever you're paying for this elite reward card, you're going to get a heck of a lot less than what you did before. And it also counts for the normal reward card as well. So you're not going to get quite as many rewards as what you used to. It's going to be a lot harder to gain points now. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. Obviously needing to save some money. Well, I know what I think of them, so I won't go into it. What else we got? Capcom set a new sales record for Monster Hunter with the Monster Hunter World. It's shipped 5 million copies worldwide on its launch, so that's pretty impressive.
What's the record they've broke?
New sales record. So
it's the biggest selling game ever?
New sales record for them, for the series.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's the biggest selling Monster Hunter game.
Yeah. It's,
okay.
I've been playing it a wee bit, but I guess we'll talk about that later. Shadow of the Colossus has got a 93 on Metacritic. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I've tried not to read too much, but I accidentally read 2 reviews today. It sounds amazing.
Accidentally read with intent.
Yeah.
2 reviews.
I know. Sounds like Bluepoint have done an awesome job. So.
Yeah, I've not read any reviews, but I'm not surprised Bluepoint done an awesome job because they're just a brown studio when it comes to remasters. So, correct choice to choose them to do it. Yeah. And the charts, which is my last bit of news. Monster Hunter World, number 1, as expected. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, number 2. So that's a wee bit different. Call of Duty World War 2, number 3. FIFA, number 4. Grand Theft Auto, number 5, still there. Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda, Pugba, Rocket League. The Impatient managed to debut at number 10. So, yeah.
That's pretty good.
A VR game at number 10. Not too bad. That's actually higher than I expected it to be, so it's not too bad at all. So yeah, that's the news. Lots of it. So yeah, over to whoever's next.
Well, we were just going to talk about VR because I know his name's Sean, but I can't remember his Twitter handle, so I apologise.
Is it No Fate?
Yeah.
No Fate, that one, yeah.
Because we were talking about VR, I think, on Twitter, and we're in a bit of an awkward position, I suppose, because the only person that owns it currently is Rob, who does some of our reviews on the website. So none of us 4 own a VR unit. And yeah, that was it. We were kind of being asked why that was and what might entice us to take the plunge and get one, or what would make us think about buying one. So I think we were just going to have a bit of a short discussion on that, because I suppose technically we're all target market for the unit. We should be wanting to buy one as fans, in inverted commas, of PlayStation 4. So I suppose his question to us was why aren't we on board with it? I don't know what the sales figures are at the moment. It hit 1 million at the end of last year, didn't it, Joe? If you're there? Yeah.
It's about
so
that.
We're at what 65 million PlayStation 4 units sold. So 1/60th. What's that? It's like 1.5% of the user base own a VR.
Something like that, yeah.
So it's a tiny proportion. I know it's not for everyone and it's not aimed at the mainstream, but it is a tiny proportion of owners. So I suppose what could they do to reach more of those people?
PSVR's at 2 million now, by the way.
Is it 2 million? Is it?
So
it's
Yeah, I've got 2 things, I think.
Yeah, well, go on then.
The one, and I'm wondering if a lot of us will agree with this, is that it makes me feel so nauseous, and I feel like they've got to be able to do something. I don't know if it's drop the frame rate or only have slow paced games on the VR, but then in that case it wouldn't appeal to me as much. And then the other one is all the wires really worry me because I'm so clumsy and I just know I'm gonna rip them out and I'm gonna knock stuff over. But honestly, the nausea thing, I just They could put Bloodborne on there, and I'd be like, sorry, I can't. I just can't play it. It's
that speaks for itself.
Exactly.
I wonder if it's even scientifically possible to stop people feeling motion sickness, because I get car sick in a passenger seat of a car.
I do as well.
I don't know.
I do, yeah.
There's no cure to that. I just get sick. So I don't know how Sony can tackle that one.
I'm fine when I'm driving. That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Because you know what you're doing, though. You know when you're going to accelerate and brake, whereas when you're a passenger, you don't. So your body's not ready.
It's like the VR, though. Some games affect. I mean, I want one, so I'm not in the same boat as you. I really want one, but it was between that and a GoPro, so I got the GoPro, I'm afraid. I wanted that more. But I do want the VR. I will get one because I think it's excellent. And I do understand about the motion sickness, because I got motion sickness quite a few games. Rigs, that one affected me. The Super Stardust, there was certain modes in that affected me. That Robinson, the Journey, oh my god. I was trying to review it, and I physically had to take the headset off and try somehow and play the game and watching the screen. And I don't know, I was going through the game, and I would just take it off. Oh my god, I don't know. Alexa's decided to stop playing music.
Oh my god, what's happening?
Alexa, stop the music.
Is it playing Journey?
Sorry,
I don't
know that one. Alexa, stop the music.
We're going to get copyrighted.
Hold on, silly women. Alexa, stop.
Oh my god.
Bloody robots taking over the world.
Literally, this is like an insight into the future, isn't it?
Yeah.
One day you're going to say, Alexa, stop playing music, and it's not going to stop playing.
Alexa, stop.
It's going to rise up. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Oh my god, this is really like taking it
there. That's why it's not Alexa playing it. It's my iPhone. It's decided to start.
I feel there's like 3 songs going on.
No, it wasn't even Alexa's. Sorry, Alexa. It wasn't even your fault. It's the iPhone that decided to start playing music. I don't know why that happened. Bizarre. Some sort of weird freak of nature going on in my room with all the equipment. Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? I was just saying about that.
Robinson. That
some of the games. Yeah, I had to try and review that with the headset. So I'd take the headset off and move it a bit with the controllers or whatever, put it back on, and just trying to get myself used to it. But that game just kept making me feel ill, so it did. Whereas games like Headmaster and Job Simulator and certain other games, I could keep it on for hours and it wouldn't affect me at all. So I think there must be a way to do it so that you don't feel sick.
In those two games, do you move backwards and forwards?
Not really, no.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's that.
Kind of Headmaster, you're standing still, but you're moving your head and stuff because you're heading the ball.
But that's a natural movement, isn't it? Whereas if you're sliding through an environment, then that's probably where you get sick. But if you're static and you're just looking at an environment, you probably won't get motion sick.
I think the games where you're looking work the best to me anyway. I quite like the games where you're going. I mean, I think it was the London Heist one where you're in a car and you're still and they're driving along and you're shooting at things, but for some reason that one didn't make me feel sick. So I think there is ways of doing it. It's just they just need to figure out the best way, I guess.
Yeah. I get what Rebecca was saying about, like, you know, maybe there is more of an appeal for like the kind of more intense kind of games where it's like, you know, really full on, but
can't deal with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But equally, I think a slower paced game, like I was saying to Sean on the kind of the thread of just discussion of it just unfolded. I was saying to him, like, if they put like a game like Journey or Virginia, like, I'm not sure how they'd implement it or if it'd work or get any appeal, but if they put something like that on VR, where, you know, they're a more sentimental kind of experience, aren't they? And I think you could kind of depth and like you could just add so much depth and kind of sentiment to that experience by being able to experience it firsthand.
Yeah,
like honestly, that would appeal to me. So yeah, exactly, that firsthand. Yeah. Just imagine like how much that, like, obviously like everybody's gone to the Rapture. Like it's a game where your emotions play a big part in it, how you feel. It's all your interpretation. And And I think experiencing it firsthand just adds a whole new level to it. And if they put something like that and made those games a kind of selling point to VR, I'd be more inclined to buy one.
Yeah.
But it's just at the moment, like I put something on Reddit a while ago, and it was about how like PSV has been abandoned, and it was kind of it's basically Sony's kind of hold their hands up, and they've said like, you know, Switch is taking over the handheld market. There's no point trying to compete, so let's focus on VR. But even so, it just, like you said before, Dan, it feels like a peripheral. It doesn't feel like a separate console thing that they've tried to implement it as.
Yeah, because that was their initial statement, wasn't it? It's
exactly, yeah. It doesn't feel like a separate console. It just feels like a peripheral, and I'm not going to justify spending that kind of money for it, especially with what's available. And I think they're missing the trick with these indie games and that, because they haven't picked up the initial amount of kind of impulse buyers because they didn't have enough content to start with. They didn't get the people saying, oh, look, there's a good line of games, you know, going for it to start with. I'm going to buy it on release. It's new technology. I'm excited. I don't think they got enough of those kind of people, if you get what I mean. That like, if they had like Doom and that initially, I reckon they would have got more people. But where there was just so little content, people were like, they weren't so inclined to the impulse buy.
It's a bit like a vicious circle, though, because I suppose the developers don't want to pump a load of finance into building a game for a tiny market, but then that tiny market will never grow because they're not building the games to entice the market over to them. So it's a bit of a vicious circle. So it almost just needs publishers and developers to take a bit of a risk. And like you say, maybe look back at some... I know we all hate remasters and everyone moans about it, but maybe look back at the back catalogue of the last 3 or 4 years and think, what could we shoehorn VR into? And things like Rapture and Firewatch and Virginia would be, in my opinion, perfect games. But then would they sell the system because they're 2 or 3 year old games that you've already played? So that's the line I think they're treading.
Maybe it's identifying a market that, you know, all of these experiences that you kind of, they're all immersive experiences through console, but you bring that to VR and it becomes so much more. And I genuinely think if they identified that and kind of, you know, like you said, took a risk, they wouldn't be stuck in this infinite loop where everyone's going, oh, you know, good kind of idea, but it's not got enough content for me to spend that much money on.
Although I think they're quite happy with 2 million sales, to be honest. I think they're quite pleased.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That many, and I think there are 150 games still to come this year as well.
Yeah, but VR's big technology. It's really, it's when you think about it, like the science behind it, it's a big deal, and it shouldn't just be getting 2 million. I know that it completely dwarfs like 2 million as a number, but it should be getting far more than that, I think, in my opinion, because
when you compare it to the user base.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Although it is still young, really, so I mean, they are trying to push it with bringing out
how many
all
Switches
these games
sold though?
I don't know.
Tons, I reckon more than VR.
More Switches sold VR, but then it's a different proposition.
Oh, it
really.
is. But all I'm saying is people have the money to spend on this new tech. I think as well, though, the problem with VR is it's not suitable for all types of games. So the kind of games I play, just VR would have no use because I like third-person games. It just, what's the point in VR? So that's one of the reasons I'm not fussed, because the library of games just doesn't interest me.
That's the thing, is it going to get better as it ages? Because as it ages, new technology that's kind of going to, you know, put VR, like, you know, back in the kind of line of science if you have it. Like, is it going to get better as it ages? Because someone's going to bring out something that's a bit more immersive than VR.
Maybe, but look at
I just think they need to do what I said and just sort of implement it somehow into the big first party games, like I said about the idea I mentioned in the podcast a while ago, where you're playing the game, then you can put the headset on, do the dog fights or whatever, take it off and keep playing your game again. Just do stuff like that.
You run the risk of locking out people, though.
But when I was talking about that, I was talking about you would have the option to do it, or you could have the option to play the normal way, but the option would be there. So then the people who want to be more immersed in the experience would suddenly think, oh, I'm going to buy the VR because I want to play that bit in VR.
Yeah.
So it's a bit what they've done with Resident Evil, really. You could play it all in VR, or you could just play it normal.
Yeah, maybe they need to do more of that, more kind of get people playing Resident Evil 7 and then them thinking, oh, hold on, I could play this again in VR, I'm going to invest, rather than having kind of completely separate libraries. Maybe.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how it works with VR. I'm not sure if you can play some of it, think, all right, I'm going to play this bit in VR, then switch to playing it normal. I'm not sure how Resident Evil works, but I just quite like the idea they had where if it was a space game, whatever, you could play it, and then when you go to the dogfights, you could go, all right, cool, I'm going to put the helmet on, but putting the helmet on is actually you putting the VR unit on, so then you can go and do the dogfighting in space with your VR, then come back and play the game as normal. I just find it's a cool way.
Yeah, but maybe that's what they're missing as well. They're trying to identify it as a separate console as opposed to a really good companion for PlayStation. So they're trying to run it on its own when technically it might work better if they kind of intertwined it with how PlayStation works in a way. Yeah. Like, if you get what I mean, like if it was like this kind of experience where you could take a game that you're playing on your controller and then, as you say, like put on a helmet and be in like, you know, a dogfight kind of thing, like in planes and stuff, it'd be a lot different to kind of just saying like, oh, here's a game where you could just fly around all the time, like that's it, that's the limit. Yeah. Whereas they could kind of integrate it with their thingy, and I just don't know.
So just thinking about
do that. I think it's just because it's still quite young. I think that sort of thing might still happen.
What were our so trying to retrofit VR into games we liked? Becky, what was your favourite game last year?
What year was it last year? 2017. I liked Little Nightmares last year.
Yeah, see, VR would never fit into that, would it, really?
I was completely gone then. I had no idea where I was.
All right. Nick, what was yours?
I can't remember what my favourite last year was. Oh my gosh.
Did you... Assassin's Creed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
So could that work?
Possibly,
but then it would feel more like Dishonored than it'd feel like Dishonored and Thief. It wouldn't feel like Assassin's Creed, so I don't think that would be implemented well, personally.
I liked Nier. That would never work. And what was your game of the year last year, Joe? You weren't on the podcast, but what would you say yours was?
Probably Uncharted.
Yeah. So again, it's difficult, isn't it? So all these kind of the best games of, I know we're talking hypothetically, but to get it to work in those situations, it's quite difficult. I could imagine maybe in Uncharted and Assassin's Creed, if you had binoculars to kind of look at the scenery, you could put your VR on, look around, pinpoint somewhere, and then go back to the telly in third person. But it's a lot of faff.
I know it might work quite cool in like something with the train scene or whatever. I mean, it could work. There's ways it could work, I think. Or when you're exploring in a cave or whatever.
But would it have to go to first person?
Yeah, probably. I guess it would. But I'm sure there's ways they could do that.
Yeah, some first-person games feel like they're meant to be first-person. Then if you think about putting that game in like a third-person aspect, you're like, no, that wouldn't work. And then it's vice versa with, obviously, Assassins I've always imagined as being, you know, third-person, so with The Last of Us. But then when I think of stuff like Far Cry or Dying Light, I'm like, oh yeah, they work perfectly as first-person, but I can't imagine playing VR in them.
There's ways for them to do it. Just think of GTA. You can play that in first person now, can't you? That's got a...
Is there free running in that, though, and climbing rocks and build... Yeah, I could imagine Uncharted in first-person mode would, again, be sick-inducing. Just jumping from...
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't think it'd be the full effect. I don't think it'd give it the full effect, either.
You'd be staring at a rock face for half the time.
You would.
Or, like, be looking at the sky when you're trying to climb
what you're doing. Like I say, some bits when you're doing the puzzles or whatever, that might be quite cool in VR. When you're doing the puzzles. I mean, there's certain sections that would work, I think, quite well. I mean, imagine doing that puzzle, that really frustrating puzzle.
Or the light one.
Yeah, I imagine in VR that would have been a lot easier.
Yeah, because you could actually see it in real life. Yeah, that's a good point. But so back to the question, though, at the moment, there's not much that can really be done to make us buy one, is it? Other than Joe, who wants one. I don't know.
I do think that Sony should, you know how I mentioned earlier about the wires and stuff? It would be nice if they could sort it out so it was wireless, because I do think that really puts me off. Just the fact that you can like trip over them, or they're just lying around your feet when you've got your headset on and you can't see where they are. I think if they did another model where they, you know, made it a bit smaller, less heavy, because it's quite heavy.
They wouldn't be able to do it wireless and smaller and less heavy.
True,
because it would have to have a massive battery in it.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I will say about wireless is from using it quite extensively when I had one is that they're actually quite handy just to have there, because like sometimes like I was playing a game and like, I found myself over the other side of the room without even realising.
Exactly.
I took the headset off and I was over the other side of the room, and it's got, without wires, where are you going to end up? Upstairs?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, we've got a house rabbit, so wires are a no-go in our house anyway.
Yeah, because they'll become like
they'll make it wires.
Yeah. Oh my
god. Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully that answers Sean's question.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good debate, I suppose. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I think it'll have a big E3 this year.
Yeah.
You'd think.
Yeah.
And possibly more integration with PS5, if and when that comes. Because it's already existing, isn't it? It's just a screen in a helmet, basically, so I don't imagine there's too much technology difference to have to figure out. He says, without the knowledge. So, yeah, cool.
Let's move on.
Yeah, did we have a question or something?
Oh, we were going to do that. The question that... Did you pose it, Dan? About
I just noticed a WhatsApp message from Rebecca saying try not to bash games too much because I work there.
Yeah.
I've never heard of freedom of speech.
No, I know. I just don't want to get in trouble.
Sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, game. Sorry that Rebecca works there, but I still think you suck.
Oh my god. Joe!
Well, I'm not just going to be me. Can't change my thoughts on them, ever.
Anyway.
But I'm glad you've gave Rebecca a job. Yeah. Okay, what's next?
Well, we were going to, I don't know how long we've been going. We were going to talk about, because I put that question on Twitter, so we locked everyone out of Twitter. So I didn't have access, so I basically put a question up saying, if you could erase one game from your memory and relive it again for the first time, what would that game be? I think we pretty much all answered something, possibly. I don't remember, but Rebecca was teasing hers.
Oh my god, yeah.
I didn't say
trying to figure it out.
I did reply,
it was stressful.
but I never read your question right. I only read your question as if you could erase one game from your memory, what would it be? So I said Nier. I never realised we could relive it. So that's definitely not my answer in that case.
Too late. It's in black and white now on the internet.
No, it's not. I deleted it actually.
How did you get rid of
it? What you'd said.
Oh gosh.
Go on then, Rebecca. Put everyone out of their misery.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Was it Shingo on Twitter? Was like.
Yeah, he got his detective hat. He was like, "How old are you? When did you start gaming?" It was quite amusing, actually. Yeah, so everybody, I think, assumed it was Bloodborne, and it's not. The game I'd probably say I'd most like to relive is actually Inside, just because I think the first time I played it, and I played it a few days ago because I had to get screenshots for my most recent article, but the first time I played it, I just remember thinking instantly, oh wow, this is so cool. Like, I know that the nature of this game is going to be dark and twisted, but there's so many clues, and predominantly the clues come in the background. So you'll be going through a scene and there'll be tiny little things happening in the background, and it's not until you play for your second or third time that you realise how important they are, and it's actually a massive piece of the story. But, you know, playing that first time, I was like, wow, the puzzles are incredible and all these secrets, and you'd go into the next room and there'd be something shocking there or a jump scare, and you'd be like, oh, wow, that was completely unexpected. Obviously, now I've played through it again. I know when everything's going to happen. I know all the solutions. I know where all the secrets are, and it's just a little bit of... It's a bit of a shame that I didn't really embrace my first playthrough as much as I did, because I was doing a review and I was like, okay, got to play through it, got to get through it and get this review done. So I'd like to relive it and actually be able to just sit down and, you know, enjoy it and like take in everything and look at all the tiny details in the background, because Playdead, you know, ridiculously clever in both their games, Inside and Limbo. The whole story is basically told through what's happening in the background, and you can just play through it and completely miss it. So I think it would have been nice to have played it for the first time with not having any pressure of a review on my shoulders, and I could have just, you know, spent days and, you know, weeks just going through it really slowly and taking everything in. Yeah. I play it all the time now, and every time I play it, I'm still in awe. I'm still like, wow, this is amazing, and it's so dark. But it would be nice to, not run through it and be like, okay, now the game wants me to put this box here, and then I've got to, you know what I mean? And it's innate, and you're like, okay, now I need to do this. But honestly, yes, seriously, really good game. And I know some of you, I feel like, Dan, you told me you weren't too keen on it, but it is very good. It's a very good game.
Yeah. I got more things on my to-playlist.
I'd you have The Last of Us, because that game just whacked me in the face right at the beginning. So, that would be
right up there for me. Yeah,
that's the one. No doubt, no competition. That's the one.
That's vying for kind of best game ever. Yeah, it's so good.
Definitely.
Yeah, Nick.
I'm really torn. So I might just mention them both, just because I'd say they're on par for two different reasons. The first one is BioShock.
Yeah, good shout.
It's only for the first. I go through and I play it now, and I know where all the kind of jump scary bits are, all the kind of bits that really kind of build this atmosphere. I know kind of what happens with them, and it ruins the whole illusion of the game, which annoys me as I play, because yesterday I was playing on the Xbox and there was a jump scary bit and I was like, oh, I know that this guy's going to disappear here and turn up here, and it just it ruins it, because when I played that for the first time, it scared the living hell out of me. But now I kind of go back and play and it's like, I love it so much, but I know where everything's happening.
Same as me then, isn't it? It's like you don't really play through it with the awe of mystery. You're like, okay, now this is going to happen.
Exactly.
3, 2, there it is. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think a lot of the game is based on the atmosphere, and when you kind of know what's happening when, it kind of does kind of dampen down on that atmosphere. But I'd say my other game is definitely Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
Oh, good job.
Just for the fact of when I played that the first time, it was, I don't know, it was like something else. I couldn't explain it, and when I kind of finished it, I had to start writing a kind of reviewy kind of opinion piece for it, because I needed to kind of get out all these things that it made me feel. And it got to the end, and it kind of sat with me for so long. And honestly, I think it's the first game in ages that's been able to do that to me. And I just love to experience all of that again. Just being able to sit there for a whole weekend. I kind of want to cry because it's such a sad game. Literally, it's honestly fantastic. I love that game, but I'd give anything to relive those two games again.
Yeah, cool.
Dan?
Go on. We're waiting on you, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too hard, really. I know it's my own question, but it's really hard to answer, because I, like Joe, have been gaming forever, for many years. So it's easy to pick a game from this or last gen, but I think really I'd rather go back further and maybe experience, I don't know, Super Mario Brothers for the first time again. One of those kind of really defining moments in life where I'm like, okay, I love games. Yeah. This is why. Because now I do it because I've done it forever, kind of thing. It's a long-standing hobby. Whereas when you're a kid and you're discovering these new games, it's all new. So I don't know. Could go back, maybe Super Mario Sunshine. That was quite cool. Or Super Mario 64, Metal Gear Solid 1, Super Mario World. There's just so many games. But like Joe said, The Last of Us, just because of the narrative, would be good to go in blind. As an adult, you appreciate the narrative. Because as a kid, when you're playing things like Super Mario World, you don't really, there's no nuance of story. You're just playing to finish the levels. Whereas now you appreciate things differently. So yeah, it's a really, like I say, I know I posed it, but I don't think I can answer it. I'd like, even things like Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, just because that was so groundbreaking, or the first time you play online or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's too many options. So
I like that kind of mentality, though, that it's not so much a defining moment in games for you, but a defining moment in your life in regards to games that makes you want to kind of relive it. That would be like me going, I want to play Crash again. This is the first time I really got into a game. Yeah. I like that kind of.
I wanted to write a piece, but I won't, because I'm too busy and I never have time, about things that. So I'm weird with remembering stuff. My memory, I either remember things because I remember what Southampton Football Club were doing at that time, or what player they had. So I'll remember a year because it was a year that we had a certain player or something, and then I'll make that connection. Or I'll do it with games. So there's certain points in my life, like through college or university, where I assign that time in life to a game I was playing. So there's certain things, like when I was at college, I was doing my exams, but I bunked off. My mum took me to game on Dreamcast release day so I could get a Dreamcast and Sonic Adventure. So that kind of time with my mum going to buy that console is something that I remember fondly, not necessarily the console itself, but just that thing. I remember going with Lisa to the midnight launch of the Nintendo DS, and we queued up outside, bought 2 new Nintendo DSs on launch day. Shadow of the Colossus. I took Lisa into work. The Saturday after the release day of it on PS2, went to game and bought a PS2 and Shadow of the Colossus. So there's just like
so sweet.
different things in life. Like gaming is so interwoven into my life that I have those memories. So it's weird. So that's why I find it hard to try and relive these things. So yeah, that's a bit off topic and a bit more personal than maybe I should get. But yeah, it's funny for me.
It's good. It shows you what influence games have had on your life. I like that. That makes me happy.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. So that's So for me, it's more about the emotion. It's like you smell something and it reminds you of like there's a specific smell that reminds you of Christmas or things like that.
Yeah.
For me, games are like that. A soundtrack or a visual from a game take me back in time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's why I collect them and find them hard to sell, because they mean more than just being the game.
That's so sweet. I literally can't deal with how sweet that is.
That's kind of how I feel about all the promo copies I've got sitting there. Even though half of them I'd never touched with a barge pole because they're terrible games, they still sort of remind you, oh, that's when I was working there, or that's when I was working there, sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, they're like time capsules, aren't they? They're just almost pointers, or points in your life that you know, if I go in the loft and I get out my box of games and like Final Fantasy X for the PlayStation, that reminds me of university and going to bed at 4, getting up at 9, going to uni, and they just have more to them than being that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, doke.
That's why gaming's great, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right, we better move on because we're getting on a bit. So what are we talking about next?
What we've been playing. Let's do that. Let's finish with that.
Okay, well I can go first because I've only been playing Monster Hunter World, really. I've not played a great deal of it. I mean, maybe about an hour or two's worth, but it's still a lot better than I thought it would be. I'm like with Japanese style games, it's a bit like... I'm not really the biggest fan because I don't really like the text heavy, take about 4 hours to get to the action sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I found that a bit at the start with Monster Hunter, where you've been introduced to all the characters, and it just seemed to take forever to actually do anything. And I was thinking, I don't like this game. But the minute you sort of get into the action, you're fighting the monsters and you're getting your different types of weapons and stuff. It's actually really good. I really like it. And I kind of would like to play a lot more of it. But I mean, it took a while to grow on me, like I say, but yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I keep thinking about it, which is always a good sign of games where you think I must go back to that and have an hour shot. So it's obviously got its hooks into me. So yeah.
Is it a bit like I found with Cat Quest? I'd play it and I'd be like, oh, I just go and kill something else to get my XP up. Oh, I just go in that cave. Oh, I just do this cycle. Yeah. And you find you're going to stop, but then an hour later you're just doing one more thing.
Do you know what it is?
One more thing.
Do you know what it is? It's like Destiny. It's got the fantasy equivalent of Destiny, I think. That's what it reminds me of, because Destiny, I've not played Destiny 2, but the original Destiny was a bit like Halo, where you go into these missions, they're all just kind of standing around, the AI standing around waiting to be bashed up. And it's kind of like that. You just go on your missions and you can go as a group, obviously play online, then you come back and you can upgrade your bits and pieces and stuff. I think it's like a fantasy equivalent of Destiny. That's kind of what I think it is.
And it's got quite good reviews, so would you kind of agree that it's kind of got good production values? It is a good game underneath the Japanese exterior, I suppose, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not its fault it's Japanese. I mean, that's just Capcom games. That's just the type of style. I mean, there's certain things that annoy me about it, like the when you start it up and you've got all these sort of really square boxes and menus, which all sort of Japanese games seem to have, this sort of certain style of menus and stuff. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they're just kind of, they almost feel like they're belonging to PS2, the way they're designed. And it always really annoys me because PES does it as well, and I think to myself, make it more modern looking. But there's just got bits that annoy me, and I hate all this. Sometimes I think all the dialogue's a bit unnecessary, and there's little bits that annoy me about the dialogue, like when they're talking and then all of a sudden you meet a character who says one word and then it's all just text. He stops talking and it's like, that's what really annoys me about games like that. But okay, just once I get past all that and just get into the game, and I mean it's a good looking game as well, and it runs really well and the action's fun, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of fun. I can see why they're scoring it well so far.
Cool. I find with that, it does, I get it, and when Lisa was watching me play Persona, that does it. So the first maybe line or first 3 words, the character speaks it, but then there's reams of text. But I find on normal games when the characters speak all the text, I read it quicker than they speak. So I read and skip through what they're saying anyway most of the time. So that doesn't bother me so much when characters don't voice all the subtitles, if you like.
Yeah.
Because I go quicker than what they're talking. But
that's right.
It's a fair comment. So yeah, sounds good though.
Yeah.
What about
it's alright,
everybody else? What have you guys been playing?
Do you want to go first, Nick?
Oh, okay. So I've Overwatch has seen a new update recently, so I kind of jumped back on there for a little bit. I was on it for like 3 hours, including another like 6 hours a day before. So I was just kind of playing that. Yeah, literally just looking at the new skins and that. I've been playing that. Kind of, I feel horrible, so I've gone back onto it and I'm really mediocre, and it really annoys me. But I'm kind of rolling with it because it is one of my it's my favourite multiplayer. Like, I love it, so I've got a high kind of, I'm very tolerant with it, even if I'm doing badly. But obviously I'm still playing those of Digimon. Even more so thanks to your brother for giving me a DLC pack for it, because he's, amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna. He'll probably listen to this now. Sorry, Ben. But yeah, so I've been playing loads of that, and it's funny that Joe talks about the Japanese kind of heavy narrative, because it's actually what I'm enjoying. It's one of the things I'm enjoying most about this game is the fact that the narrative and the story is so, I'm really enjoying it, thoroughly enjoying it, and it's one of those stories where it's quite an in-depth kind of, it's got a load of jargon in because it's set about hackers and stuff, so it needs that kind of thorough narrative to be able to kind of explain what's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't think if it wasn't so narrative heavy I wouldn't enjoy it very much, but it's really, really, really good. I think I may have spoiled the entire game for me though, because I typed in something on YouTube because I wasn't very sure of one of the characters' genders, and because of the story that was kind of unfolding, I was like, okay, I'm a bit unsure what's actually going on. So I kind of googled just the character just to wiki their thing, and it comes up with a major spoiler before it comes up with their age or anything else. So I was like, thankfully the names are in Japanese, so I'm going to kind of wing it and hope that I haven't spoiled the ending. But I just note to yourself, never wiki anything if you're trying not to spoil a game.
That's frustrating.
Literally, because I'm enjoying it so much. I'm only in chapter 8 now, and I think if there's anything its last one, it'll be about 20 chapters. Okay. So I've got a way to go, but I mean, hopefully I've not spoiled the ending, but I'm really, really enjoying it, and if you've not got Digimon yet, guys, go get it, because it's really, really good. I reckon you'd enjoy it, Dan, and I'm disappointed you've not got it yet.
Yeah, one day maybe. But I've had it before inside, but after Shadow of the Colossus.
Okay, I'll accept that. It's on the list. I'm happy.
It's on the list.
Becky?
Okay.
I've been playing Hellblade.
Oh
my god!
Yeah.
Thanks to me and our pact about buying it.
I know.
You promised me you'd buy it, and I'm so happy you fulfilled that.
I'm not too far into it. I've sort of got to the point where I've just started to head off down a route to fight 2 gods, and then I go down another route. But I'm really enjoying it, and I've been playing it with headphones in. Everybody really, demanded I play with headphones in. They were like, "You got to have your headphones in. Make sure you get your headphones." And it's really clever. I mean, the voices are so unsettling. Like there's just a constant dialogue alongside you, and it's very clever that some of them are very clearly on your side. So I was having a fight, and I just heard someone say, "Look out behind you," and then all of a sudden, an assailant attacks you from behind. And then there's other ones that are saying like, "You can't do it. You know, you're gonna die here. You can't make that jump." And it's very like intense. You can just be walking through a section of the game, and all these voices just feel like they're just like powering on top of you, and you really do. You know, you can imagine the depiction from the mental health. You know, you just being like crumbled and crushed by all these negativity. But yeah, it's really good. The gameplay is really nice. The fighting works really well, so the combat's really fluid, and there's quite a few options for your combat, which I liked as well. So you can do like fast melee, strong melee, very responsive, and yeah, it's really good. It's very dark though, but I like the way they've the direction they've targeted at, because I've never seen anything like that in a game before. When you're just literally just surrounded by all these voices in your head, and it's very intense. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm kind of mad that I waited so long to get it.
Yeah,
I've got it now.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's another one of those games that when you get to the end, you may interpret it differently, but what it's trying to get across is quite interesting. It's a really good game.
I'm interested about that,
Yeah, I'm glad you're playing it.
What have you been playing, Dan?
Only Hidden Agenda, I think, since we last spoke. No, I'll tell a lie, because I've finished Cat Quest, so I moved on to Tearaway, because I wanted a quick game to play before Shadow of the Colossus. So I had Tearaway from ages ago, so I've been playing that. It's a standard Media Molecule game. It's good, it's nice, it's everything that Yooka-Laylee should have been, basically. That's what we spoke about before.
What did you think of Hidden Agenda?
I think it's really good. Really good,
isn't it?
We platinumed it last night, so we kind of did all the story arcs and got all the endings and stuff. But yeah, I really liked it. I don't know why they bothered making it PlayLink, if I'm honest, because you could have just done it with 2, 3, 4, 1 DualShock. The phone doesn't really add much, but it was good. Yeah, I really liked the story. And did you
see why I thought it'd be better with 3 players than 2? Did you just play it with 2?
Yeah. You need that kind of decider, but it didn't ruin the story. I think the first time you play it, I suppose because of the ending we got, the story was really good and compelling, and we were like, oh my goodness, we've got to go back in and do this right. But like everyone says, no matter what ending you get, it still gets spoilt for you, and it would have been nice to not have it spoilt so that you play it again not knowing quite what happened.
I understand that. Yeah.
But I'm for a game that you can pick up for like $7.99, it's well worth it. I think they've done a really good job. It looks amazing as well, doesn't it? It just
it's
looks
good.
incredible.
It's very good. It's the same makers as Until Dawn in it, so
I thought, they've got a good solid engine there, and I know they've just done Inpatient on VR, but I'd love them to do another just PlayStation 4 horror game or something using this engine again. I think they've got something special. So yeah, it was good. For the cost you can pick it up for, I'd urge everyone to get it and give it a go.
Okay, right, we're near the end of our podcast. I don't know if we've got any user questions, but I've got a question I want to ask. What's the difference between Tim Tams and penguins? Because I've never really figured it out. Now? Yeah, I'm talking about biscuits, yeah.
Between what?
Because it came to my mind. Tim Tams and penguins. What's the difference?
I've never heard of the first one.
No, Tim Tams has got an Australian biscuit. Have you never heard of it? Maybe it's because I've got Australian relatives, so anytime somebody comes over from Australia or whatever, they always bring these Tim Tams and they bang on about them all the time, how great they are, and they're just basically penguins.
Right.
So you're like, oh yeah, these are amazing. You're going, they're just penguins.
Well, yeah.
I just presumed everybody knew what I was talking about. Oh well, that question failed.
Well, if they don't have jokes, then they're not as good, because the best thing about penguins is the jokes. Like, I don't even care. I'm a sucker for bad jokes, and I just, that's
I'm
me
sure
sold.
some of our listeners will know what I'm talking about, so it's fine. They can tell us
if anyone's eating them, See if there's a joke on the back for Nicole.
Yeah. If
Just send them
there's
there.
Just
Money
tell us what the
chocolate bar.
difference is in general, if you think one's the same as the other. But yeah, sorry about that. I just wanted to ask that question because I throw in
That was
random
very
things
random.
to throw you all
Really random.
now and again. Got to keep it random sometimes, haven't you? Can't be too serious.
Yeah.
It's no fun if you're serious. Okay, do we seriously have any questions though?
Don't think so.
I don't think so. Well, I don't think so.
we didn't really ask, did we?
Yeah.
You didn't
It's been
ask.
going on a while. I think going
Have
forward,
to go.
everybody that's listening and all our Twitter friends, we're going to try and record on a Monday. So if you want to ask us anything, we will put a tweet out as well. But get your tweets in on over the weekend, and it gives us a chance to think of answers and answer them on the podcast.
Yeah, good idea. What about competitions then?
Yeah, we should shout
SquareXO
out.
ends tomorrow.
Yeah, so probably by the time people listen to this, SQXO February will be starting. Yeah. So get your Shadow of the Colossus screenshots in.
It's not out yet, Dan.
Make sure you at Nicole. The poll will be up probably. Well, it depends when you're listening, but check the Twitter for the poll for SQXO January.
Yeah, really, it's the next major game that's out. Actually, Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
it's still fairly quiet. I was just looking at the release list here. It's still fairly quiet. You've got a few Switch games coming out, like Dragon Quest Builders stuff. That's games that's coming out, like that have been out already, really. But there's nothing. It's still fairly quiet, really. I mean, this is the main game coming out this month, I would say, really.
Yeah.
Really nothing.
We're giving away a game on Twitter as well, aren't we?
Yes, it's pinned to the top of the SquareXO Twitter feed at the minute. All the information for the giveaway is up there.
Yeah. We'll keep that pinned for a few days then. Yes.
Next month, Life is Strange Before the Storm Limited Edition is coming out. Are you buying that one?
Yes, I'm getting it. I've seen it for ages.
I'm so mixed about it because I've heard people... I know I've got to make my own opinion up, but not enjoying the new one, so I don't know if I'm going to bother.
I enjoyed it.
I bought Batman, actually. I bought Series 2 of Batman Telltale in the sale, so I'll probably do that before I jump into...
Well, I've got an episode to play, actually. I've caught up in them all, but the new one came out this week, didn't it? The new episode, so I've got to play that one. But, but back to Life is Strange, I enjoyed that. I've completed it, and I thought it was good, but the only thing that really annoyed me about it was some of the voice acting was pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that annoyed me a bit. But like apart from that, it's alright. It's quite good.
It's a bit of a shame because the first one, the production values were pretty good. So
yeah, no, I'd say the production values is alright, but there's just one bit when you meet the other girl's parents. I can't remember her name now, but you meet her parents, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just a bit too. Don't know. It's not right somehow. There's something not good about it. But yeah. But there's another episode of that coming out, and the one, I can't remember what it's called, the bonus episode, so I've still got that to play whenever that comes out.
Oh yeah, because that was if you had the special edition, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I've got that to play, so for that. I need to play the Batman now, so I forgot about that, to be honest. So yeah, it's all good. Cool. So have we any other business before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
No, just check out the website, I suppose, everybody. We've done some updates recently. Give us some feedback.
Yeah. Dan worked his little butt off on it, and it was really good.
I know. Old Rob with his whip, getting all these suggestions over.
I still never... I said I would edit my About Me page, but I never done.
Oh, yeah, we need to update that, Joe. Yeah. But anyway,
all the stuff in my brain that I've got to do, and I forget because there's just too much going on in there.
Life gets in the way.
It looks really good though, Dan. So thank you from all of us.
You're welcome.
It looks really good. So
cool. Ace.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's covered everything off, peoples.
Okay, you know where to follow us and all that, so I won't repeat it again. Just remember to leave us a nice review on iTunes. That's all I'll say. Thanks for joining us then, everyone, and we'll see you for the next episode. We're creeping close to episode 50, so 2 away now. Look forward to that. Okay, thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.